Judge Dredd is returning to the silver screen. According to an exclusive by The Hollywood Reporter, a new movie based on Judge Dredd, a British science fiction comic book filled with bloody ultra-violence and a sense of wit satirizing fascism, the police, and the nature of law and order, no relation, is in the works with Taika Waititi set to direct and Fall Guy writer Drew Pearce set to pen the script. Both creatives who have personal vested interests in the Judge Dredd series and books, and in making this movie happen, given that both Pearce and Waititi both grew up with the books and are friends who have been trying to find a project to work on together for years. The Hollywood Reporter also states that the direction of this new Judge Dredd film will take inspiration more from the comics than the previous screen iterations, leaning into the world building and dark humor. It is also meant to be a fun sci-fi blockbuster that nonetheless speaks to this moment in culture. The desire is to see the movie launch a Dredd universe that could be explored with additional movies and shows across various platforms." End quote. Admittedly, I am interested in a new Judge Dredd movie, though I do have some reservations. While I have no background with Judge Dredd, or JD as I like to call him, as a comic book character, and have not seen the Sylvester Stallone movie from 1995 that the internet really detests, I am a huge fan of 2012's Dredd 3D starring Carl Urban, because that movie kicks all the ass, even though it didn't do very well financially, and thus never received the sequel that it deserved. Additionally, Taika Waititi has created some good movies in the past, most notably JOJO Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, which gives me hope that a new Judge Dredd movie helmed by him will work out favorably for everyone. However, with that being said, Waititi has directed a few stinkers as well, most notably Thor Love and Thunder, a film so tonally light that it ensured that the audience didn't care about the stakes of its narrative and its bumbling fool of a protagonist. Because, you know, a movie has to be more than himbo eye candy, just definitely not Waititi's best. And while I understand that his approach to storytelling utilizes heavy dosages of humor, that shit needs to be reined in to a certain extent, especially for something like Judge Dredd, a franchise that is, while reportedly very satirical, is a franchise I otherwise associate with being bloody and violent. If anything, the subject matter requires some form of narrative and thematic weight to balance it, meaning that tonally, Waititi's Judge Dredd film needs to be less like Thor Love and Thunder and more akin to JOJO Rabbit, a movie where Waititi's comedic wit was balanced with a heavier narrative. You know, because a movie about a child in Nazi Germany and his imaginary friend Adolf Hitler can only be so whimsical. Because Nazi Germany. Because Hitler. Please don't tell Grok. Hashtag what a Grok of shit. Also, the prospect of a Judge Dredd cinematic universe doesn't really do anything for me. After all, we have seen so many of these cinematic universes come and go with minimal amounts of success. Because do you even remember the Dark Universe? Unfortunately, I do. Hell, even DC had to reboot its cinematic continuity recently, so I'm just ambivalent towards the broader plans of a shared cinematic universe, especially considering that we're still a long ways out from the first movie even coming out and hopefully being good. Regardless though, I am intrigued by a new Judge Dredd movie, and if Waititi can approach the material with an even hand, I think it can work, but maybe I'm just an optimist. However though, that is just my opinion. Please tell me in the comments what you think about a new Judge Dredd movie directed by Taika Waititi, as well as a Judge Dredd cinematic universe. Also, definitely like and subscribe and all that stuff. Bye!